Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Canucks, but that's going to be the next video on this channel. I wanted to make this video about a very specific player that is no longer on the team. Unfortunately, no, we're not talking about Tyler Mott. Bless that man's soul. He is now with the Rangers. He is practicing, and I'm going to miss him so much. But I wanted to revisit Travis Hamonic, because ever since the guy got traded 2 days ago while I was eating at a Denny's, had to step outside the restaurant to record a short little vlog talking about my reaction to the trade, it's been a weird, 48 hours since that happened. For a few reasons. Firstly, you have the Vancouver Canucks media and fanbase pretty much unanimously agreeing that Travis Hamonic getting traded to the Ottawa Senators for a third-round pick is a huge Hughes win. Yeah, I threw in the Hughes in there. You weren't expecting that, weren't you? Why? Because Travis Hamonic was a bottom-pair defenseman getting paid like a top-four defenseman who had such a strange start with the Canucks this season, mostly due to speculated vaccination status problems, and whose contract lasted another season. Thank you, Benning, for that $3 million AAV deal, which saw him getting paid until 2023. The Ottawa Senators took on this contract with zero salary retained for a third-round pick, and a lot of Canucks fans and media were super surprised to see the Canucks actually pull this off. We're not really used to the team trading away players who aren't good, shedding cap space, significant cap space at that, and acquiring draft picks, let alone all in the same move. This was a prime-time thing that the Vancouver Canucks did. Brendan Batchelor says it might be the best Canucks trade they have made in a decade. A decade! That's 2012! That's a long time ago! Offloading $3 million for a bottom-pair defenseman while also adding a third-rounder is basically wizardry in today's NHL. But there are a few other things about this conversation that get weird, too. Firstly, we have ourselves the entire reason the Ottawa Senators went out there and made this trade. Secondly, you have the critical response to the acquisition by the Senators, as well as the apparent sentiment from the Canucks players as to how they feel about Hamonic moving out. Let's go over a few more tweets before we expand on the latter of these conversations. This is what Hamonic's agent Kevin Epp said after the trade. I think Travis is disappointed. The team is pushing for the playoffs and Travis wanted to be a part of that. He played hard in Vancouver, and we kind of knew a defenseman was leaving Vancouver for cap reasons. Rick, you gotta put your K's before your N's, man. You can't be writing new like that. But I saw a lot of people reply to this immediate thing. Oh, what do you mean Travis Hamonic wanted to play here in Vancouver and he wanted to play hard? He wasn't here for the first 20 games or whatever it was. Then you also had yourselves Blake Price going out here and talking about what the same agent Kevin Epp said about the Vancouver media 3 months ago, saying that people don't want to come to play here, stories are negative, it's a hostile and difficult environment. And then after his client gets traded, he's like, oh, he's disappointed. He wanted to play here. He really did like it in Vancouver and he played hard. Consistencies with the agent, eh? Then we had ourselves the backlash. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to backlash. Mark Mathot, former Ottawa Senator and current Ottawa guy who is not playing for the Ottawa Senators anymore, but he's still a prominent figure in that community, he said this immediately after the Hamonic trade. Although he did not say Hamonic's name per se, you can kind of connect the dots and think about what it is that he's talking about here. It's a weird acquisition for sure, referring most likely to the Ottawa Senators. I honestly haven't followed the on-ice play of this player in a long time. I can say this though. I know a lot of players. All of them have told me that the new acquisition is a bit of a different bird. Not sure that's what I'd want around a young core. Of course, I could be wrong. The problem is, I'm usually correct. So this is one dude coming out here and expressing some sort of a confused look as to the acquisition of what I'm going to be speculating is Travis Hamonic, because that's when the tweet was published. That's the guy that they got around that time. And then after he was traded too, you had yourselves Frank Saravalli, who went on to Canucks Central the next day, saying multiple players from the Vancouver Canucks, assumably, had reached out just to say what a breath of fresh air it was after getting rid of Hamonic. Now, I don't know what's going on in that locker room. I'm not there. And unless you're a Canucks player yourself, you're not there either. But boy, oh boy, is it strange, very strange, to see several pretty notable people in the hockey community, players and analysts alike, talking about Travis Hamonic in such a negative way after he gets removed from the Canucks. Here's what Jay Fresh had to say about the matter. It's kind of satirical, but is this the most we've seen a player get blank talked in the media after a trade? My goodness. Look, Hamilton, Sagan, Subban, etc., they got like they were annoying and people didn't like them treatment. Not every person in Vancouver is reporting to me that the eternal shroud has lifted now that Hamonic has left the city. Of course, he's exaggerating, but that's kind of the thing here. How the heck does Saravalli get several people on the team tell him, yeah, breath of fresh air after getting rid of this guy? Like, one, he's really connected if that's the case, and two, how is it that a lot of players feel the need to go out there and do that? To reach out to Frank Saravalli of all people and be like, yeah, I'm super happy that this guy's gone, man. Like, you don't even know what it was like playing with this guy. It's great. And I know a lot of Senators fans watching this video are probably just kind of facepalming even more right now because we know that you guys overpaid for Travis Hamonic. The guy's a bottom-pairing defenseman who's making $3 million next season. But what makes this trade even more interesting is the fact that according to Dranson Dhaliwal on The Athletic today, the deal was all the more remarkable because there were no other bidders involved. The Sens were the only team that expressed interest in Hamonic, and they gave the Canucks a third. If they gave the Canucks a fifth, I think a lot of Canucks fans would be like, wow, great trade. No more Hamonic for a fifth-round pick, no salary retained, sign me up. And then you realize why exactly it is the Senators are making this trade and what their vision is for Travis Hamonic of all people. This is what Bruce Garrioch said on his latest piece, and I mean, everybody kind of knows that Garrioch is pretty much like the guy when it comes to knowing what the Ottawa Senators want to do because he's kind of their mouthpiece. The Senators are hopeful Hamonic can play in their top four, and there's a sense he may be a good candidate to play with top prospect Jake Sanderson, who is expected to leave the North Dakota University Fighting Sioux next month to sign here. And I'll just say this right here. You don't want to do this, Ottawa. I'm sorry. I've seen Travis Hamonic in this Quinn Hughes experiment for a few months now, and, you know, it challenges Hughes. It really does. It gives him a challenge in order to make sure that he's making the right reads in his own zone, and offensively, you know, he's a passing option, Hamonic is. Like, you can do a give and go once in a while with Travis Hamonic, and once in a while he'll score some goals from the point. It's pretty cool. But having Travis Hamonic play with your flashy, mobile, left-handed defenseman on the top four, I really don't think you should go ahead and do that. Jake Sanderson is going to be stepping into the National Hockey League for the first time, and I don't know if Travis Hamonic would be the right fit for him to start off his career. For Quinn Hughes, he already had some seasoning with guys like Luke Schenn, who honestly plays a lot better than Hamonic. Like, he's a lot more defensively responsible, in my opinion, than Hamonic is, and a lot more mobile, too. But Quinn Hughes played with Schenn, he learned the ropes in the NHL, and then they played him with Hamonic this season, and I mean, Hughes was great, he's always getting points, but having Hughes and Hamonic together was not really that pairing that you would prefer to see. I much liked seeing Hughes with Schenn. And so for Jake Sanderson to come in here and have Hamonic as the guy, I'm going to question it now. Now, you know what? If it does happen when Sanderson comes over to the Senators and it's good, like let's say it's really good, the pairing actually works out and Travis Hamonic all of a sudden plays like Thomas Chabot out there, I'm going to eat my words. I'm going to say that I'm wrong. I'm going to say, yeah, good on him for going out there and reviving his career and playing a lot better in Ottawa than he did in Vancouver. Because, my goodness, if Travis Hamonic can revive his career then at like 32 years old or 31 years old, however old he is, then color me shocked. But based off of what I'd seen in Vancouver here for a few seasons now, going over to Ottawa, I mean, he's going over to a worse team. He's going over to play with players who are not as experienced as the guys he was sticking up with over here. Word of advice to Sens fans, I guess I could just say here, buckle up. Because with all this crap and the drama coming out from the media about how Canucks players are apparently happy that he's gone, and how Mark Method is supposedly talking about him, saying, yeah, a lot of players in the NHL tell me that he's kind of a weird dude, you can kind of start to see why I needed to make a video about this, right? Like, I have not seen any form of drama that has gone up to this level of volume than we have seen with Travis Hamonic ever since he left Vancouver to go to Ottawa, right? So let me know in the comments if you're a Canucks fan. What are your thoughts on all this stuff that has popped up in the media? What are your thoughts on Frank Saravalli saying that Canucks fans, or not fans, but Canucks players are happy that he's gone? Ottawa fans, let me know in the comments, how does that make you feel about your own team and their judgment? We heard apparently that the reason Ottawa was interested in Hamonic was because one of the assistant coaches had him in New York a decade ago, and that assistant coach liked Hamonic enough to say, hey, let's get him again for a third. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.